Joe, I've seen headlines today. We have people that haven't seen it. We have in the studio monitors up that show us.
Capture your kung fu.
Well, first of all, we've got the cameras that show my kung fu, but we have monitors,
TVs.
correct, that show us the different news just to make sure there's no breaking news stuff.
Yes.
But did you see, I think it was yesterday, they were talking about the dueling visits of the presidents to the southern border.
I did see this. Yes. Yes, we've got President Biden. He's going to be heading to Brownsville, Texas. And I threw out to you, I said, how did I phrase this to you? I said something like, Trump is going too. And you said, let me guess.
Let me guess. Eagle Pass.
Bingo. And I was like, how did you know that?
You said you read the story. I said, no, I just know that's the that's the big... Come on. This is where everybody's like, Eagle Pass, man. Eagle Pass. It's ground zero for the political game that is border security.
So we've got Biden going to Brownsville. We've got Trump going to Eagle Pass. They're both in Texas.
Yeah. Biden had a few things to say, too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, here's what he said.
Asylum officers, and over 100 cutting-edge inspection machines to help detect and stop fentanyl coming out our southwest border.
Nailed it.
Wow.
Is there a time that he speaks it doesn't sound like he's having a stroke?
I just feel bad for him for what he said there.
Listen, I genuinely feel bad for the man. Every time he speaks, I'm like, is he okay? Somebody get him help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyway, he's going to be he's stationed in Brownsville with the asylum borders on the fentanyls.
So, the question that I don't understand, too, is I understand why, if you're Trump, why you would go to, Eagle Pass. You're saying this is the hot spot. It's where everybody would go. And
yeah, it's a strange deal where the governor has taken a stand against the federal government.
And again,
and the Border Patrol.
Running on the red side of things, and Texas, more of a red state.
Yeah, very.
But if you're Biden and you're running for president, let's just break things down real quick out there. 4 border states is what you've said? Southern border states?
4 southern border states.
California.
Is one of them.
That's firmly in Biden's camp. He's not going to lose California.
Doesn't have to worry about California at all.
How about New Mexico?
Usually leans pretty blue.
And also not a lot of electoral votes at stake there,
No,
too.
Nobody cares about New Mexico.
Texas. Does Biden have any chance at winning Texas? I'll do the work for you. No. He does not.
No.
So why would he go to Brownsville, Texas, when many people out there say Arizona, kind of a purple state?
I think he had some things to say.
Asylum officers, and over 100 cutting-edge inspection machines to help detect and stop fentanyl coming out our southwest border.
And you add that, Joe, I don't know what you said there, man. You're giving all Joes a bad name with that. A story that crossed my screen yesterday.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that he should ignore Texas? He should ignore the southern border in Texas?
No.
Okay.
But I am saying he could do himself a favor.
Yeah.
And potentially people all across the U.S. say that Biden hasn't done anything on immigration. So why wouldn't you go to Arizona, and a state that potentially you could win and you could sway in your favor, as opposed to going to Texas, a state that you have no chance of winning? Now, let's be honest here, too. One trip to the border is not going to win anybody over, period.
In fairness, this is his second trip to the border in 3 years.
But any one random trip is not going to win anybody over. But if you're really looking at taking some executive action, and if you want to talk about how rough things are on the border, why wouldn't you go to a state that you could potentially win and, I'll use a political term here, expand the tent a little bit? Oh, maybe you don't just talk to Democrats, and maybe you talk to some moderates and maybe some Republicans who say, you know what, I'm not convinced that Trump is my guy. Maybe I would consider voting for a Democrat. And then you add that with this, Chris, Arizona sector. This is a headline. Arizona sector becomes #1 hotspot for migrant crossings despite border walls and treacherous terrain. They're talking about the Tucson sector and Sasabe. Is it Sasabe, Pablo? That's how I've always pronounced it. Sasabe, Arizona. Very, very small.
Why do you ask Pablo? It felt racist.
Because you are even whiter than me.
It's true.
And Pablo is a native of Arizona.
But both you and I grew up in border states, too, so it's not like we're unfamiliar with the terror of living in a border state.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, the northern border. What terror did we have going on up there near Windsor?
Listen, I've been to Sault Ste. Marie, and I can tell you, listen, some of those trappers can be terrifying.
Angry lumberjack
that
up
is
there?
Correct. You've never seen a captain with a corncob pipe in his mouth who was upset because the nor'easters have grounded his ship.
You're not wrong. I have, in fact, not seen that. But what I don't understand is, don't just look at Pablo. Pablo, don't indulge him.
Don't indulge me.
No, don't play into his demented parlor games over here.
So the Tucson sector, anyway, is the hot spot.
And I'm not even saying the Tucson sector, but it is the number one hotspot for migrant crossings. So if you're President Biden, and you're really considering taking executive action, trying to do something on the border, since all of that bipartisan work that Senator Sinema and others were working on ended up falling apart, and you're now considering taking executive action, why wouldn't you come to Arizona to announce it?
Are you saying that the border issue is inherently a political issue? Are you saying that it should be used for political gain and not that there's a real concern?
Just like everything else. But I'm also saying that he could do himself some favors. And by going to Brownsville, Texas, here's what everybody's going to say. He's just going there for the photo op. He's just doing the easy thing.
Wouldn't they say that if he went to someplace in Arizona? If he all of a sudden showed up at Lukeville and says, there's a border and made a run for the border and the chalupa was good.
But at least I would sit there and at least I would be able to say if I couldn't stand Biden or if I was, not thrilled with how...
She's a Gordina.
Gosh, how could you like anything he's done on immigration? He's been brutal on it. At least I would say, man, at least he's going to the sector where it's been worst. If he went to the Tucson sector, at least he's seeing it with his own eyes, as opposed to, of course he's going there. That's the easy trip.
Well, Brownsville's still got an issue, right? But
the whole border has an issue.
Right. So I guess I would say, Joe, that if he goes to Arizona, people would say he's only doing that because it's a purple state and he's trying to get the votes.
Okay.
Okay, from a political standpoint, is it possible?
Isn't it an election year, and wouldn't he want to go to the purple state to try to get the votes?
It is what it is, just do it,
Lean into it.
Well, maybe... Just throw this out here. Maybe there's a push for Democratic candidates in Texas, and he believes this might help some other down ticket races. Maybe trying to undermine Senator Cruz. I don't know.
I guess that's possible. I think you're thinking way too deep about that. Biden can't even string a sentence together over there.
Maybe there's a good DQ in Brownsville.
Did see him eating ice cream yesterday.
It's good. It's got chocolate chips. Totally possible.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.